it going now?
It's recording. It's just
Oh, okay.
testing. I just wanted to make sure. The timer, though, I can't.
Where's the data? I can hit it.
It's the very top right button. See where it says start? Yeah, so that
right
will
here.
be the
Okay.
one. Yeah, right there, actually.
All right, you guys feel good?
Yeah, whatever.
Okay. Go ahead and hit it, Rick. Welcome to Middles Open, the sports show on QFM 96 that has Doug Risher. That's how I'm going to title it from now on. We need a sponsor, but until we get a sponsor, it's going to be brought to you by Doug Risher.
Well, I'm going to be the one that produces it afterwards, too, so.
Yeah, but if we
Kind
can
of is
sell it,
sponsored.
I'm not going to split the profit with you. I just want to, I mean, if
Well, that's
anybody
not
out there,
fair.
if anybody's an anti-Doug guy, they're going to sponsor this.
There's not a lot, though. That's the problem.
Yeah,
Maybe Rachel, if she wants to.
that's true.
She hates me.
We also have Lou Willard back. Lou, how are you?
Doing great. How you guys doing today?
Good. I want to. I'm happy to have this today because Doug is a big Patriots fan and Lou is a big Steelers fan, and I want to hear you both cry. You, Doug, for the future, and I want to hear Lou's excuse for why the Steelers aren't in.
It's only a 30-minute show.
Yeah.
Maybe next time we have other teams to talk about.
I read your posts on Facebook, and I just feel like you couldn't get that if we had a 4-hour show about the breakdown of that.
Not if I bring a couple of my buddies in with me.
Listen, at some point we might do that, but I want to first get this out of the way. I don't care who wins anymore because the Bears can't make a 43-yard field goal. Cody Parkey with the double dunk. I'm out. I don't need to worry about it. So now I want every team to lose, but I want to get your take on this because I'm looking at this saying there's a lot of marginal teams in here, and then there's the Patriots, the Chiefs, and the Rams. That's the way I'm looking at this.
There's some stellar teams, but real quick, not to sidetrack.
Sure.
The 43-yard field goal. Did you hear what they're doing in Chicago this weekend? Some bar.
I did see that.
Doing this promotion that's setting up a field goal, and anybody that kicked the 43-yard field goal gets free beer for a year.
Well, Cody Parkey better not show up because he can't do it.
Well, every college kicker around there, I would assume
gotta
would
be
know,
rules.
right?
You gotta keep in mind it did get tipped.
Listen, Lou, don't defend him.
It did.
It did
True.
get tipped,
Okay,
man.
I'll give you that. That got tipped. What about the 10 he missed during the year? I told you I don't want to talk about this. I want to move on.
That's why we want to talk
No,
about
I want to move on from this because the Orioles lost 120 some games. Now the Bears get bounced because they can't score more than 15 points. I got nothing to
At
look
home.
forward to.
it. Them winning would have changed so many things, man. Like, it's just...
It would have changed my life.
Yeah.
It'll change one of my Facebook posts because I said since the Bears kicker want to act like Ray Finkel and can't make a chip shot,
Yeah.
now I got to pick a new team.
Yeah, I don't even care about it anymore.
All right.
We're not talking about the Bears until September next year.
All right.
So what I want to get is your take on this because I know Doug, you're a big Patriots
Right.
fan. You've got a rooting interest.
I should have worn my Patriots sweatshirt today.
Listen,
It
let's
would've
not
been
worry
perfect.
about that.
It
because
won't be applicable next week.
Lou
Probably
says
should've.
they're getting bounced. Lou says they're getting bounced this weekend.
The Chargers are looking pretty tough, man. I mean, but they're going to be playing at Gillette. It's going to be cold.
Chargers already down 9-0.
And
It's Thursday.
it's 2 weeks in a row. They got to go from West Coast to East Coast too. So
Yeah.
they're kind of messing with you a little bit.
yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah,
Patriots have been in the playoffs so many times. It's just they've got that. They're seasoned, and with Brady having that much experience in those big, high-profile games, I think that's going to pull the Patriots ahead a little bit. But I mean, I've seen a lot of people talking the Chargers are a better team overall.
And Brady is 7-0 against Rivers.
Yeah.
I mean, so I'm aware of all that, but football it's an old school game. I know it looks flashy what the Saints and the Rams did this year, but at the end of the day, you win on the line.
Yeah.
And New England's just banged up. And if the Chargers are ever going to beat them, they're going to beat them this weekend. With their defensive line going against that offensive line, and they know where Tom Brady's going to be. They didn't know where Lamar Jackson was going to be last week because he's running around like Michael Vick used to.
Yeah.
And they shut them down. Now, granted, you are playing arguably the best quarterback to ever play the game. So it's going to be
Rex
interesting.
Grossman?
Rex Grossman, absolutely.
Okay, I wasn't sure who you were referring to.
We still talking Bears, right?
Let's not till September.
But the Patriots haven't lost at home this season either, so they have a lot going. I mean, that cold weather. I mean, I was seeing that they were going to get snow. Now I'm seeing that they're probably not going to get snow.
It's supposed to be around in the
windy.
20s, but
Windy.
yeah. At the end of the day, though, that's why the Chargers have that running game.
Yeah.
And the New England's not a slouch on the ground either. But I just think it's Phillip Rivers' time. And so it's more me picking the Chargers than it is picking against the Patriots,
Right.
even though people will tell you I can't stand the Patriots. Obviously, I'm a Steelers fan.
Right.
So why would I like them?
Right.
They've kept us out of, 4 Super Bowls on their own. So at the end of the day, I just think it's Phillip Rivers' time to get there. I would pick the Chargers if they were going to play the Chiefs. It wouldn't matter to me.
Really?
They look that good right now. I mean, they're playing sound football. That game last week wasn't close. They blew the Ravens out. Don't get caught up in what you saw when they pulled their defense back and then let him start completing some passes. If they would have kept the pressure up, that game would have got ugly. And it should have been 17-0 5 minutes in.
Right.
You know, they just didn't capitalize on a couple short 3rd and 1s and ended up kicking field goals. But New England's going to get rid of the ball quick. So a lot of us are going to depend on these officials. Not saying New England's going to cheat, but if they're going to call every little touch or bump,
right,
it's going to be a 50-point game by both teams because of the receivers that they have. But you got to let the defense play a little bit.
Well, I want to back up to what you just said. So you said you would take the Chargers over the Chiefs. The Chiefs are playing the Colts, and the Chiefs are at home.
Mm-hmm.
What's your to me? It's Andrew Luck and a bunch of sad sacks around there. I could be wrong, but they've only looked good in the last 2 or 3 weeks. I'm not a believer in that team. I feel like that's the Jim Harbaugh when he was with the Colts, and it was just good enough to get it done. I don't think the Houston Texans are any good at all. They got a bunch of cool guys on their team, but they're not very good.
The Texans have a bunch of cool backstories when you get to talk to the players about their families and stuff. But this is football. I mean, we can go to another show for that. But at the end of the day, I think the Colts are going to get run out the stadium. And you're the first person I've talked to since last week that actually believes the Colts are not going to win. And some people said win going away. The Texans can't score.
Right.
That's been established all year long. The Houston Texans cannot score. So the Colts went in there with Andrew Luck and 4 tight ends and a decent running back and beat them. Now, their defense is good, but I know the Chiefs have not won a playoff game since Joe Montana was quarterback at home. But how many
might be there this weekend.
Yeah. How many have they played? They played 6, okay? Right. Well, they lost, I think, a couple to the Steelers. You know, they've lost to some good football teams. It's not like they've lost to a team that looks like this Colts team.
Or the Browns. I think that's going to be a high-scoring game, the Colts and the Chiefs.
I do, too. I just think at the end of the day, I don't know how the Chiefs can stop Mahomes because at the end of the day, this is kind of like the Lakers in the 80s. You can score 100 points. My goal is to score 130. So I don't care how many you score. I'm going to outscore you. And that's the way I think this looks is when you break it down by possession, if the Colts don't score, if they go 2 drives without scoring, they're going to be in trouble. You know, you're going to be playing catch-up the whole game.
Well, the Colts there's no secret to what they're going to do. They're going to run the play clock down. They're going to want to run the football, throw short passes to the tight ends, and then try to hit T.Y. Hilton on a deep post or a deep flag. There's no secret. They want to speed the game up. The Chiefs want to speed it up in a whole different sense. They want to score in 2 plays.
Right.
But the loss of Kareem Hunt is huge for them. I mean, you just can't lose an all-pro back. Even though people say the running back position is devalued, go ask the Chiefs and ask the Steelers how devalued it is. You know, even though Connor came in, did a good job, he got hurt. Kareem Hunt's they're on like their 2nd or 3rd guy trying to replace him because one didn't get it done, one got hurt. You know, so that makes a difference when you lose a player like that.
Well, okay, do you think, this is off the topic of the playoffs, but do you think that Le'Veon Bell, do you think that hurt the Steelers or not?
No, I personally don't. It's just one more element of drama that was gone, and then the next one pop up in Antonio Brown. The Pittsburgh Steelers, remember they won with Hines Ward and Jerome Bettis? Who has more talent? Those 2 or Bell and AB?
Oh, I'm not. That's
the
not
difference is back then they weren't pretty boys.
Right.
Now you got pretty boys making a lot more money, and the coach is letting it slide. Bill Carr wouldn't let it slide.
Did you see what Ryan Clark said about that, about Antonio Brown?
Which one?
Well,
he's talking about putting his hands on him at one point in the locker room.
Well, when he said Antonio Brown was acting up, and that was when he first became Antonio Brown, kind of.
Yeah.
And he said, "Don't give that guy money," which is funny because you never hear that while their players are active. You hear it after the fact, like an Eric Dickerson, that guy's not a good guy. We don't want to be around him.
Yeah.
But when somebody's saying that of a guy that's on an active roster, I mean, nobody said that about Aaron Hernandez, and he turned out to be a great guy.
Yeah.
Well, no one knew he was going to do that.
I don't know. I was reading, they're saying the winning formula, throwing for the lead, then running to protect it, obviously.
Yeah, so, that's what they're going to try to do.
Right. And, I mean, it makes perfect sense. You want to obviously protect
but really, if you think about it, what team don't want to do that, you know?
Right, ultimately. But so you're going with the Chiefs?
I'm taking the Chiefs.
I'll take the Chiefs big.
Yeah, I got the Chiefs on that one, too. I think the Colts really are a pretty good team. I mean, they have really.
I think they're solid. I'll give you that. I think they're solid.
think
They're not
they're-
the Giants.
No.
I'm just saying, the
have
Giants
a-
aren't the Giants either.
Yeah, they have a ton of cap space, and if I'm them, I go get a couple wide receivers. I don't care if you get them through free agency. I don't care if you draft them, but they need some speed on the outside other than T.Y. Hilton that's reliable. People are saying they should go get Bell, but once you give him money, what's going to happen?
Right.
And they have the money to give him, but
He's doing it before you give him the money.
he acting a fool now.
Right.
So imagine if you give him what he wants. You lose a lot of leverage there. So I'm not sure I touch him if I'm them. But if they get a couple wide receivers, they're a year away to me.
The Colts?
The Colts are a year away. I think they'll get me by at least 13 this weekend. I could just see it getting away from them.
Oh, I think it's a double digit.
Yeah.
For sure. But if
What
we're-
day is that game on? Is that
That's a Saturday
Saturday
game. See, and being a Steelers fan, I gotta have the Chiefs win. That way, I don't care if the Patriots win or not at that point because they won't play at home.
Yeah.
No one
He's
can get
got
to
it all
six.
figured out.
No one can get to 6 Super Bowl wins. That's what all this is boiled down to. I couldn't even believe they actually started these playoffs last week if the Steelers wasn't in them.
4 of the Steelers' Super Bowl wins were before most people were born.
And they're
at this point.
still Super Bowl wins. And they're
Just
still
saying.
Super Bowl
Yeah,
wins.
they got the ring still.
I like when Jets people, both of those people go, hey, we won a
Both
Super
of
Bowl
those
in
people.
1968.
Both of
That's
those
all you
people.
need. So as far as we didn't really, so Patriots, Chargers, Doug,
Patriots.
You're taking
I got to
Patriots.
go with the Patriots. Just
Homer. And so I got the Chargers. Lou has the Chargers, but we didn't say by how much. Are you saying the Chargers, Patriots are going to
I
win
think it
outright?
could be a close game, man. I mean, the Chargers are obviously looking fantastic. So I just think there's some things that favor the Patriots being at home. The weather, I know I keep saying that, but I mean that's a
Giselle.
big. Yeah, she's probably
That's
rubbing
worth
his
2
back
points right
now.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, threatening the wide receivers.
So I mean,
Again.
I'm just gonna
He
go with the
can't
Patriots.
catch the ball too.
He can throw it and
Yeah.
catch it.
Why not?
Defend that. Defend that comment after they lose the Super Bowl. Giselle blows up on people for dropping the ball. That's your guy, Doug.
You know,
There's no defense of that.
there really isn't. I don't really
No.
know.
And if any player would have said something to her about it, they would have been cut.
Yeah, well, I'm sure.
They've been in Jacksonville
Yeah.
talking about, I was on a Super Bowl team, I promise you.
I played with Brady.
Okay, so we're pretty much in agreement except Doug is taking his hometown team.
Yeah, got to stay loyal.
Did you, the games that we watched though, didn't you find them to be dull? Didn't you think these teams were overmatched? Because the Ravens really didn't put on a show until
Yeah.
about 10 minutes left in the game.
Yeah,
Eagles the same way.
yeah, and you can argue the Ravens shouldn't have been there. I mean, but they were, but they didn't show up. And I think they didn't show up because the Chargers showed up and just took them out of everything they wanted to do. The worst thing for the Ravens in that game was playing the Chargers 2 weeks prior because they had seen it. They're just running a basic high school offense.
Right.
They're not even running a college offense. That's a high school offense. They seen it, and these grown men, and they said it won't happen again, and they completely locked it down.
It did look like Jackson was like completely confused.
He
But,
was
you
confused.
can watch all the game tape you want, but until you're out there, you don't really figure out what's going on. And it seemed like it was real simple. I don't know why. And Doug and we talked about this on the show before. You're shutting a team down, and then you go, okay, we're going to drop back and play cover 2 and let them throw in the middle. You're letting the only person that wins in that situation are gamblers who are going, hey, just cover this
Depending
spread.
on which side
Yeah.
you're on.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you ask players, they don't even understand that, but you just play, you don't coach.
Right.
And you question it, and they, give you a few choice words on the sideline, and you go out there and do what you're supposed to do what they tell you to do.
But
or you
that's
find another job.
right. But I understand all
But
that.
they do question it during the game, like, why are we backing up?
If you look at it, I don't even want to say the name of the team, but when they were playing the Eagles last week, they had this team on the 20-some yard line after the kick return, and they give up like a 30-yard out because there's nobody by the boundary. They don't
Yeah.
want to get beat deep straight on, so there's plenty of room to throw it. It was a great throw and a great catch, but it wasn't Odell Beckham, one hand on the sidelines. It was this guy's open, and that's why you get a field goal attempt that you double dunk.
Yep.
But it was tipped. So
I don't know what you're talking about, Doug, because I don't know what scenario you mean by that, but that guy missed the field goal.
he did.
But that's what when I
A lot
watched
of
it, I watched that through all those playoff games. It was we're holding them down, and in the fourth quarter, I don't know if you're just trying not to get hurt or you just think this is a smarter way, let them get first downs, because they're just scoring, and then onside kick or whatever else is going on. Seattle's the one I don't get at all. I don't even know what they're
Yeah.
doing. I like Sebastian Janikowski comes in. The guy had to be 295 pounds, pulls his hamstring just trying to kick a field goal at the end of the first half. No kicker the rest of the game. other than your punter.
You would think that the punter could kick the field goal, though. At least try.
You would think that they would practice that at some point.
Yeah,
you know,
at
like,
least try. Somebody on the team has kicked a field goal before. And it was like they didn't have anybody like that.
That's odd, Lou, because I think I remember in high school the 2 times you lost in the playoffs, the kicker missed the kick at the end. Is that not true?
Yeah, but at least they were kickers.
This is why you're one of them was a soccer player, Lou. You can't defend that. One guy was on the soccer team. And we're not going to bring up Jimmy's name on this show because he might be listening.
no name dropping here.
I'm not, but Jimmy Pickwa, you remember. We're going to go to break because I want to cover the last 2 games on this docket because really only one counts. You're listening to Middles Open. We'll be right back. All right. Ready? So we're at 15:26. Okay.
So we going into the Cowboys and the Rams now?
Yeah.
That's going to be a good game.
Eagles and the Saints. Who the hell cares about that? Tim Lacoste, who's in Washington, is the only one that cares about the Eagles.
The Cowboys and Rams game is the one I'm looking forward to.
Oh, I want the Rams to score 50 points.
The Cowboy defense is good, though.
And they got, I think, the 2 best running backs. Well, you know, it's going to be...
Jordan Howard?
Oh, God. You sound like Todd Snyder and Cliff Bosder.
Don't you ever say that. All right, we're coming back.
Oh, boy.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to Middles Open, talking NFL playoffs. We got 2 matchups we didn't cover. In the first part of the show, we covered Chargers, Patriots, and Colts, Chiefs. I want to go into Cowboys and Rams because no one is passionate about the Cowboys. They don't get upset when you pick against them. So, Doug, I want to go to you first. Cowboys, Rams, what do you think of that?
I mean, I'm looking forward to that game. I mean, like I said when we were on break, I think they have 2 of the best running backs in the league. You know, obviously Zeke and Gurley. I think Gurley's probably better than Zeke. I mean, I love Zeke since he came from here, obviously OSU, but I think there's going to be a lot of interesting things going on. I mean, it's going to be a high-scoring game, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's looking that way. When you talk about the running back comparison, it's kind of skewed because they run 2 different offensives.
Right.
If you stick Zeke out in L.A., he looks just like Gurley.
Right.
You switch them up, they look identical. So I think they're same caliber back. Difference is Zeke is healthy.
Right.
Gurley's banged
up. Yeah, he's
up.
coming back from that knee injury, right?
Yeah. And Gurley's banged up, but he's going to play. But this game is going to be tight. Like, I think the spread opened up at, 8 or something crazy like that. I don't think I'd be giving 8, but I got to believe the Rams won't choke again at home in the first playoff game.
But if you had if the game comes down to quarterbacks, who do you take there? Listen, this is going to be an odd take, but to me, Prescott in that offense, in his offense, is a safer bet than Goff because I've seen too many times. To me, it's a weird thing. Like when I was growing up and you saw Elway and guys like that, those guys had cannons. And Joe Montana was more precision and route running mattered. I feel like that's how Goff's thing is. So if it's not going well and he has to throw deep, sometimes that ball just kind of floats out there.
Yeah, flutter on him a little bit. Yeah.
Whereas I don't think Dak is going to take those kind of chances. That's more of a conservative approach, but you're not turning the ball over as much.
I think one thing that's really cost the Rams is the loss of Cooper Kupp.
Yep.
You know, that's no one's really bringing that up a lot, but that hurt them.
I meant to, but that's cool of you to take that.
Yeah, I mean, I felt that out of you. That's why I went on and picked it up.
He just had to cross it off.
Yeah, just cross it off his sheet. You know, I'm just cheating off his sheet, that's all. But at the end of the day, if I had to go, here, okay, for the Rams, which coach is going to show up? The Sean McVay that coached the first 9 or 10 games? Or the Sean McVay that coached the rest of the year where he forgot that he had one of the best running backs in the league behind him? If the Sean McVay of the first 10 games show up, the Rams will win this game easy because he'll go back to running the ball, play action, and the guys will be running those crossing routes wide open. But if he thinks he's going to pull what he did at Chicago, you remember that game. You're a Bears fan. We'll keep bringing up the Bears.
What team?
Yeah, the Chicago Bears. You remember that Sunday night game.
But see, that was that's what I'm talking
where
about.
Where he threw 56 times in the cold?
Yeah.
If he throws 56 times, they're not going to beat the Cowboys. But if you had to ask me on the surface, I would trust the Rams coach more than I would trust the Cowboys coach to call a better game.
But I also trust that defensive line of the Rams.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got a lot of money tied into those guys, and I'm not saying Sue or anybody else is going to have some monster game. But when I look at it, you've got name guys, and that run's going to be over. You got a lot of free agents there, so those guys, if it's ever going to be done, it's got to be this year.
It's got to be now, yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going with the Cowboys with Prescott and Elliott. And Elliott being healthy, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just a
Cowboys close, or you're just saying Cowboys? I'm saying Rams running away with it. You're saying Cowboys.
I think it's Cowboys close, but I still think it's a safer bet going with Dallas because, like you said, I mean, we saw Prescott; he can move.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, and then you add obviously Elliott, and he's 100%. So I think the Cowboys are going to pull it off.
In addition, Amari Cooper has not hurt them at all. I mean, it's put them in this position, but I still think it's just the Rams' time in this game.
Right.
I think the Rams. I'm not like you think Rams in a runaway. You think Cowboys close. I think the Rams will win, but the Cowboys will cover. So it'll be within that 8 because I think it'll be a close game.
I'm hoping it's exciting though. I'm hoping that it's not a blowout because I want to see
if it's Texans Colts, man, that was dreadful.
I never root for a blowout. That's why I was so disappointed when we talked last week about the college bowl games. There are certain times in the year where it's like, this is going to be the greatest time to eat Funyuns. And I'm going to sit there and eat those Funyuns and watch college bowl games. When I turn it on and it's 14-0 Kentucky over Penn State or whatever, I'll throw my TV in the yard. I can't sit through that. And every game played out that way. Even the Clemson game. Yeah. By the way, Doug, we were way wrong and Jim was way right.
Jim?
We had Alabama blowing Clemson away. We said it on this show. Good thing no one listens to this.
Yeah, no, I mean, we should probably just listen to Jim more often.
I should have showed up last week then because I had Clemson winning. I just said Clemson close. I didn't think it'd be a blowout.
He says that now.
Jim.
We can't
We're not supposed to even say his name, I thought.
Oh, sorry.
Well, it's like
Juan.
Chicago. Yeah.
Juan.
It's like the Bears.
Lou, what are you doing? So, last piece is Eagles Saints. And I feel like this is when two kids that nobody likes at school are beating each other up at the bus stop. That's what this is. I'm going to watch it.
Right.
I'm going to hate
I just
it.
don't really
and I don't care who wins.
Either way, yeah, same with me. But I'm just going with the Eagles since they're the defending champs and since they beat your team last week.
I know what you're talking about.
With that tip-off.
Lou, who do you got? You got Eagles.
I got the Saints at home big again. They beat them 48-7 earlier this year.
They did, though. They did this.
And they threw the deep ball with like a minute left in the game to make it 48-7. They said, oh, the Eagles are going to be mad. And he's a grown man. They should be mad because they got whooped 41-7.
Yeah.
But I just don't think it's going to matter. I don't think the dome is going to play that much of effect. But I do think Drew Brees is just dialed in right now.
I would think the Eagles would have a better shot if that offense just doesn't seem – they're taking deep shots. When you're playing on turf, especially indoors, if it was the Rams, that would be amazing because both teams would run it up and down the field. If you're trying to control the ball and, keep the other team to 15, 16 points a game, that's different the way you run your offense.
Yeah.
But I'd rather see Rams and Saints in wait, who would be – the Saints would have the home field advantage, right?
Saints would. It would be the Rams at the Saints. Again, they played there earlier this year, too.
That's interesting. I didn't think about that. So we're kind of all in agreement there that nobody cares about the Saints and Eagles.
I really don't. I did forget, though, for the Cowboys and Rams, the 9th time that they've actually played each other in the playoffs. So, and they're 4-4, so it's tied right now. So another reason I want to watch that game.
I think that will be the best game of the weekend. Because I think the other three could be double-digit wins, and that includes the Chargers.
I think the Chargers, Pats game will be the best game just for the intrigue of if the Patriots are getting put out. It's kind of like towards the end of the run when you see these great teams. Everybody wants to do that. This is their swan song type thing, and they've been doing that for the Patriots for 10 years.
And that's not the case this year with the Patriots.
But I do think if the Chargers beat the Patriots, I don't see how they don't get to the Super Bowl after that.
Yeah, I think they definitely get to the Super Bowl if they beat the Patriots. So, moving forward, who do you guys see progressing to the Super Bowl? I know it's still
my pick at the beginning of the year on the podcast that we do. It was the Chargers and the Saints. So I still got a shot.
Really?
But I can tell you right now, if the Chargers are going to win this weekend, I say it's double digits because they have to beat the Patriots. I might not like them, but they're not going away. You're going to have to beat them. They know how to win. You ain't beating them I'll be shocked if they beat them by 3. I think they're going to have to.
I definitely think it has to be a 14-point win.
Yeah, they're going to have to beat them. Yeah. I mean, because you got to give credit where credit's due. Them boys know how to win.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it's been proven over the years.
Yeah,
so,
but I would say Chargers and Saints will wind up in the Super Bowl.
What about you, Mike?
It's hard to go against not just Brady, but Belichick. I like that whole system, that whole culture.
The sleeveless sweatshirts?
Oh, my God. I wish I could cut all the sleeves off my sweatshirt.
I'm surprised you don't do that.
Well, I don't have enough baby oil to wear it in here today, and it's a little cold. But if I'm looking at this, I would love to see Phillip Rivers get a Super Bowl win because I think his career, people don't really realize how much he's done at 38, 39 years old. And a guy has like 75 kids, so I think
he needs the money.
Yeah. But what I don't want to see is I don't want to see the San Diego Chargers that played the Niners in the Super Bowl. And it was 55-10, and you were just looking forward to the commercials.
Right.
And I feel like that running game with Melvin Gordon is good, but it's not outstanding. His receivers are not outstanding. And I think when you get on the big stage, you can get exposed if you don't have that talent on the outside.
Right.
And like Lou said, if you don't have Kareem Hunt there, running backs matter when I'm trying to put the game away and when I'm trying to wear you down.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I think that the Chargers rely too much on Rivers to put the game away because they threw like 3 times. They had the ball with a minute left, and they're still throwing the ball to get a first down.
Right.
They could have run out the clock.
What you're not the benefit of them making the Super Bowl, what they're not going to do is run into a team with a very stout defense.
Right.
So that's going to help them out big time. If they're fortunate enough to win this weekend and go to Kansas City has their defense is ranked, 30th, 31st?
Yeah.
So they have to win shootouts. They're equipped to win a shootout. I think they're equipped to, Gordon getting hurt was just unfortunate because he hasn't been the same. He got hurt first or second carry of the Baltimore game. He just came back and played, but his knee's not right. But they're not equipped to win. They can win a shootout, but they're not going to face another stout defense the rest of the way out because New England's defense isn't great. Their coach is. Right. So he'll have them in the right position. So I say Chargers are going to have to beat them. But even if they catch the Saints, you're catching them. That's the drawback because Super Bowl's indoors this year, too, I think. That favors the Saints all the way. You get them outside. If this game, they were playing Philadelphia in Tampa Bay for whatever reason this weekend, you could pick the Eagles. But just indoors, man, I think Breeze too dialed in.
Well, I think we're on agreement as the show is wrapping up that we're glad that the Steelers didn't make it. Lou, thanks for coming this weekend. And Doug, and we will see you guys next week. Thanks for listening to Middles Open.
Oh, man.
I was waiting for another Bears reference to get dropped there at the end.
You understand.